Tonight on the Mac to the Future Livecast, go. A West Texas company is out to prove that the juries in their part of the state can be even dumber than the ones in East Texas with a patent infringement lawsuit that breaks new ground and stupid. Sandisk wants to go both ways. New iPads may be as fast as M1 Max, maybe. And being nice to Apple employees may bring more benefits than being a jerk. Oh, who knew? All that tonight and more in the Mac to the Future Livecast. Go. And hello to all over there in live stream land. I have no idea why I said that. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever said, and I promise to never say it again. But welcome to the Mac to the Future Livecast Go. We really appreciate the fact that you are here and that you have decided against probably your better judgment that you were going to spend the evening with us. It is greatly appreciated. And fortunately, I am not alone in the blame or credit for this show, as I am joined, as I usually am, by Mr. David Ginsburg. Hello there, Mr. David Ginsburg.
Hello, how's it going? Of course, the show notes wouldn't open up there from it there.
Really?
Doing great. And we had a great show last night. A lot of topical discussions, and looking forward to more discussion. That, of course, is Mac Voices Live. And looking for some more good discussions tonight. There's a lot to talk about.
Well, I hope so. I hope there's to be good discussions. And to add to those good discussions is Mr. Warren Sklar, who didn't know his microphone had an on and off switch. Hello, Warren.
I literally didn't touch anything when I left it. The last time, I must have turned it off. So
it happens. I have done that myself. I have literally done that myself. So
my question, with that microphone off and it's set to that microphone input, how do you even hear me at all?
I have no idea.
What was coming? What was it?
No amplifier.
That microphone is so good that even if it's turned off, it's like I'm trying. I'm struggling. I'm going to get there.
He's saying something. We just don't know what.
But we're going to, whatever it is we can pick up, it's going right out there.
I need a checklist.
Right out there.
I'm going to come up with a checklist now. Don't touch this. Turn this on.
Don't touch this. All right. We're going to, have you guys got anything special going on or anything crazy cool?
Yeah, I had a sleep test done a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
and it was horrible.
Yes,
really bad. This one was bad. The bed was horrible. I didn't sleep well.
Yeah, well, of course they wake you up like about every 10 minutes to go, are you feeling rested? Is this better? Is that? It's like you just want to punch them by the time the whole thing is over with.
Well, he was coming up adjusting my cables and stuff like that. So they called me a few days ago and we didn't do it correctly. You have to come back. So guess what I'm doing tomorrow night instead of hosting with Dave. I'm going a
different podcast. Oh no, it's another sleep stuff.
A sleep podcast.
A sleep podcast.
A sleep cast.
So I'm not looking forward to it. It's not a good thing. Yeah.
God, I did mine 20 years ago, I guess, because my wife basically was tired of my snoring, which apparently was rather buffalo-ish in its intensity, and forced me to do a sleep study. And because I didn't want to do it, of course, and I was in complete denial, of course. No, I don't snore. Of course, now that we're a little bit older, she snores, and it's the same thing. She's like, "Oh, I don't snore." It's like, "What? Yeah, you got to be kidding me!" And both my sons, this kind of developed after they both left, but both my sons, when this comes up, they're like, "Yeah, Mom, you snore. You know, those couple of nights that we've been at the house, we can hear you from our room. That's you snoring."
Sleeps
and
so
she's still in denial. So I've got this CPAP machine that's kind of the size of a 57 Buick that I should probably look to get a smaller one, but they're so damn expensive.
Yeah,
I mean, you want to talk about a racket. This is something that basically has a measured fan that blows air into a tube, and they cost like over $1,000.
So I had
insurance covers it for me.
Yeah, so my insurance.
Oh,
my
you're
insurance,
funny. Insurance company paying for something.
They are.
My
Well,
did.
I haven't paid a dime.
So they gave me one that I didn't pay for, which I didn't like, so I bought one on my own. It's the Air Mini. It's ResMed. It's
What
good.
did it run? Do you remember?
It was under 1,000. They had I get 2 emails a day of like 10% off today, 20% off today. So they're always doing
if
that.
you think of it, send me a link or a product name or something.
I have the Philips one, and
so that's the one they gave me. Yeah, I have it too. It's just sitting upstairs because what didn't I like about it?
Oh no, this thing, the one I have, you can't really see it that well, but it's like this big. It's huge.
The one that Dave has is the water tank, right? You have the water tank on the.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's just air. I didn't need the water.
Mine, the door opens and then there's a tank inside. You pull out. And
yeah, Dave has the water tank. I don't.
I don't know. That just sounds like it's way too complicated. It's like just
works for me.
Can't you just shove air into my nose so I don't snore? Can't you just do that? No,
they were.
It could be like Leo Laporte and said he tapes his mouth shut when he sleeps so it keeps his mouth closed when he snore.
Well, actually, I've seen this
a commercial
on Amazon where it like hugs your chin and comes up around your head and keeps your mouth closed.
No,
he actually puts surgical tape on his mouth every night.
He should do that during the day too.
There's a product that supposedly
love you, Leo.
Like he's ever watching.
Yeah, like he gives a crap about me and my little show. It's like, oh, what? Ooh, Guy Cheryl said something mean about me. Ooh, I'll get him.
You and hundreds of others.
Yeah, like he gives a crap. Ooh, that was close. All right, well, let's go on and stop talking about Leo
and
talk about some Apple stuff. The new iPads that may or may not come out on the 23rd of March, because everybody keeps talking about something happening on the 23rd of March. And I'm not convinced. I would think that there would be something from Apple by now, because it's like less than a week before March 23rd. And if they were going to do something, they would have said something by now.
No, they already said John Prosser and Lau's bloggers have already said it's going into April now. It's probably going to be like second week of April. So, this story was actually with the iPad Pro that you got that from Mac Rumors. It was they're saying as early as April that they're going to release it with a Thunderbolt and mini LED display.
Yeah,
which is pretty exciting, I think. Then of course they'll have the A14X processor, which could be, like I say, it's going to be on par with the M1 chip that the MacBook Air currently has. So this is going to be interesting to see what they do with this. If that's the case, this is a huge jump in processing and changing that compared to like the 2018 model I have now. So and Warren does too. So.
But well, I mean, do you think, Warren? Do you think it's really going to make that much of a difference? I mean, you're still running the same apps, and if they run 15% faster than Lightspeed, are you really going to notice?
Yeah, I'm looking at the article. On my iPad, I don't think I would notice. I mean, at work, we use iPads, and I set up a whole bunch of them, and they're a few generations back, and they're fine. It's like the speed on the iPad doesn't seem to be a big deal. The mini OLED thing, the LEDs or whatever, if it looks better, that's different. I mean, I would.
Well, that would actually be the real advantage.
Yeah.
To have a faster processor doesn't really mean that much if you have applications that can only run at a certain speed.
Right,
wouldn't apps or an environment that allows you to easily multitask take better advantage of something like this over a device that, I mean, even with the somewhat limited multitask options that Apple has given us, and thank you even for those, but it's not like it's real multitasking. It's not easy to use. You can't easily kind of switch from environment to environment, from program to program without weird hand gestures and all the rest of that. So I think that there needs to be, I know this isn't even really part of it, there needs to be a fundamental change for the iPad or in the iPad OS in regards to multitasking before I think it's really going to be worth talking about. I don't like how multitasking is set up in the iPad.
It might not be for multitasking. It might be for like really processor intensive stuff like games. Maybe gaming's held back or something's held back.
Well, that's being held back by developers more than anything Apple's putting out. I mean, it's the same thing on the Mac for that matter. The M1 with its built-in graphics processor, and they're still using Metal, aren't they, as the graphics environment?
I don't know. Is Swift did anything, or is that different?
Well, and that's a language. That's a programming language.
Metal is the graphic.
Is the graphics environment?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, regardless, they're both very, very capable. The problem is developers won't take the time to port existing titles over because what is it in Windows? What's that called? Something X.
DirectX.
Oh,
DirectX. DirectX. DirectX is what they've been using to make these games, and because Windows, of course, is the dominant platform where most of the gamers are, it's like they would have to literally, in some cases, probably rewrite the games entirely for a much smaller market, and that's more along the lines of what's holding back games on the Mac, is that there's just not really a DirectX equivalent that's just plug and play.
I think the next iPad's going to run Windows to solve this problem. Is basically so let's just boot up to Windows 2000 and whatever, and you go ahead and load your Fortnites and your Overwatches and plug in some kind of the joystick, the Atari joystick. Remember the Atari joystick? Yeah, just use that. Yeah.
With the single button and the plastic handle. Perfect. Pew 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 pew. Okay. And kind of going along with the same story, the rumors are that the A14X processor may be as fast as the M1, but of course we know what the M1 specs are. Nobody really knows what the A14X or whatever Apple calls their next processor is going to be outside of the people in the know that work for Apple. So, and again, it's kind of like it's apples to oranges, literally. The way that the iPad OS versus how the Mac OS works is it's completely different. They may have some similarities, but the way it actually operates is not the same. So whether or not it's as fast as the M1 is almost irrelevant.
I mean, in the developers Mac Mini they sent out before the M1 came out, it had an A14 processor in it. So
I was going to say that they kind of I mean, there was rumors that they were going to you would be able to run the developer version of Big Sur made for Apple Silicon on an iPad. At one point, remember they were saying, "Oh, maybe we could use our iPad to test out the build for the Silicon Macs," and then they sent it a few weeks later. They sent out the developer kits instead. But yeah, it's the same hardware. Really, it has memory. It has a processor. Technically, I would think they'd be able to get it to run Mac. I bet at Apple they have an iPad running Mac.
Well, they probably already do, since they use, like you were saying, they use the A14 in the development machine.
Right.
I don't know what the other hardware differences are between a Mac and an iPad to even have an educated guess at it.
I don't know.
There's got to be something else. It's not just RAM and a processor and storage.
It might be.
There's some magic smoke that's in there somewhere that makes it work.
People have been putting different operating systems. I mean, you see the stories where somebody put like a Windows 95 on a like a Razor Kick, the thing, the Sidekick, the T-Mobile Sidekick that they used to carry around, like instead of a BlackBerry.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people could, there's definitely going to be ways to get, Mac OS on an iPad. I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah, I actually saw a story today, and now that I'm thinking about it, I almost wish I had included it. It was somebody who had created a version of Windows 95 that you can run on a current computer that would be safe without, I guess, without getting viruses and all the rest of that. It seems like a fascinating story. Oh, was it?
It's probably
okay.
Yeah.
Just like that, the iOS, OS 9, where they were doing that in that environment. I mean, it was independent. Yeah,
of all the operating systems that you might want to run, OS 9 would not be my top choice.
Yeah.
It was really, really not a good operating system. I used to run, there was a program from Strata, and I can't remember the name of it now. It was a video editor, and it was the very first multi-track video editor that I tried using. Oh my God, that thing would crash so hard and take the entire machine down with it. And so I got used to, like, every 5 minutes, it'd be like, save, and hope that nothing would die and force me to reboot the machine, which happened like over and over and over again. I do not miss the OS 9 days or the OS 8 days or the OS 7 days. Kind of miss, the very first one I had was on a Mac Plus running in 604, which for what it was fun. It was still a fun computer. All right, well, let's not go too far down the nostalgia path. Yeah, or
let's just talk about old computer stuff.
Let me tell you about my grandchildren. All right. SanDisk's new flash drive is both Lightning and USB-C connected. Easy to connect with both iPads and Macs, up to 256 gigabytes of storage for as little as $45. Apparently, the big pull here is if you need to move files between an iPad and a Mac, and you have no connectivity, no wireless connectivity between these two machines, or the files are so big that you wouldn't want to do it that way, then you can use this device to swap files back and forth. Or, you want to take files to somebody, you can use this as well. It sounds kind of cool, but it seems like it's kind of a
Hold on.
limited device.
The concept of this is the fact that it has a Lightning connector and a USB-C connector, so you can use the USB-C. Any USB-C drive can plug into an iPad and copy files on, go into the Files app, and then you can take that drive, plug it into your Mac. So that's the irrelevant part. I think what the concept of this is the fact that you have both Lightning and USB-C. They've never had a device like that before.
That's
so now you
true.
go between. I mean, not combination like that. At least I don't recall that. I mean, I could be wrong.
You guys stay there.
Well, you probably have one.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dave.
But I mean, I think that's what the concept is. I mean, I just was reading the press release from Western Digital, who owns SanDisk, that you have Lightning and you have USB-C on it, so you can interchange between an iPhone and an iPad, or if you have an older iPad that still has Lightning, you can interchange between the two as well. So, which is what I'm thinking. Let's say you have an iPad Mini that has a Lightning connector, and you want to be able to put files onto that and then copy the files and move it over to a Mac, then now you can flip it over to the USB-C. It's all in one device. But Warren may have something that I'm not aware of.
So I bought this on Amazon about 3 or 4 years ago. And basically, I've seen a whole bunch of these, but if you could see it, it's a little adapter thing like this. Yeah. This is regular USB where you put a micro SD card.
Mm-hmm.
This is a USB connector. No, I'm sorry. This is mini USB. This is USB-C. Lightning right there. These things have been out forever.
But all that is an adapter. This is an actual flash drive that's got USB-C and a Lightning built into it. I know you could use it as a.
I have a 128 gig card in there that you go right to that.
No, I agree. I think that's I'm just looking at what their concept is. I think the concept is just making it a complete all-in-one flash drive solution that has both Lightning and USB-C.
Is it really relevant?
No,
I don't know how relevant it is.
What they are.
But there's still plenty of people that like to copy files over. I do it all the time. I got buckets full of drives I use for my Mac and copy over. I'm sure we all do.
I don't even want to tell you. You know how many microphones I have.
Well, yeah,
you should see my vast collection of drives, hard drive enclosures. Not even hard drives enclosures.
Yeah, I got that.
I'm up there too.
Because so many of them for a long time, the biggest drive you could put in them was 1 terabyte, and then it went to 2 terabytes, and then it went to 4 terabytes. And each time, if you tried putting a larger drive in, it wouldn't see it at all. Yeah, so then that enclosure would be like put off to the wayside, and then the new hotness would come in. Instead of 2 terabytes, I've got 4 terabytes or 8 terabytes or however many terabytes that you could put into one of these things. And the old ones just sit there and stare at me accusingly. You used to love me.
Those old enclosures, the chipset wasn't designed for larger size drives.
All right, well that's what that is. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. Let's briefly talk about the HomePod being discontinued, though everyone has been talking about this. Is there
talking about tomorrow? So
okay, is there like for people who don't have a HomePod at all, what does this news mean to them, Dave?
I don't think it means anything to them. If they never were into the HomePod ecosystem like we are, well, at least me, I don't see it being any of an issue at all. I was just listening to Kirk McInerney on Mac Voices with Chuck Joyner, and he's a big music guy, and he was talking about the HomePod, and it isn't a big deal. I think Apple's going to continue to probably support it for years to come. I mean, look at what they did with. He gave a good example about the Airport Express and all the airport devices. They're still supporting.
They're still supported. Yeah,
they're still supporting them, but they're not. There's very little of any firmware updates. But I can't imagine that Apple's going to completely abandon the existing folks. And he even made a comment too that when they stop supporting it, then he'll put it up on eBay and sell them, and then he'll go get some Sonos ones. So I mean. It really all depends on what your taste in sound is. And Sonos, no question, has some pretty amazing sound. Like I talked about yesterday, and I've talked many times. I have the Sonos Move. I can compare that, and that's a single speaker. And then I have the HomePods, the 2 big ones above me here, that I have in pair, and do have pretty amazing sound. But will people miss it? I don't know. I mean, I think it's something that Apple really learned on, and that's as I talked about yesterday. I think that Apple learned a lot about this speaker, and they're seeing that the HomePod Mini was just an insanely hot seller, and they're going to probably build upon that. I would not be surprised in the next year or two that maybe Apple comes up with a HomePod Mini that's at that size, but has the incredible woofers and speakers that the HomePod has now. So I would not be at all surprised that they could do some incredible things with the sound. The computational audio is the big thing now.
All right, what do you think, Warren?
Does anybody want to buy 2 HomePods from me?
You can contact him over there on the Mac to the Future page in Facebook.
There you go. I have 2, and I haven't used them forever. They sound great, but I don't personally listen to a lot of music anymore because during work I work, and when I drive I listen to podcasts. So they sound really good. I don't have a HomePod Mini to compare it to, but I do have every other type of smart speaker. Not everyone, but ever. I have a Sonos, the Sonos ones. I have a whole bunch of different types of Amazon stuff. I mean, it sounds better than all that stuff, but for a smart assistant, I still don't think it's there yet.
Well, to me, the HomePod.
And this thing has built-in A Lady too. So I have both of that in here. So
is that the portable one or no? Yeah, so I have the Sonos, the old ones, not the really old ones, but the more.
This is the Bluetooth wireless. Goes on your network. Move.
And it was probably cheaper than the HomePod.
No, this was $350. This is $399, I think.
This got like a built-in battery, right?
Yes, built-in battery.
Yeah, which of course the HomePod and the HomePod Mini, neither one has that.
No, so I can.
You are tethered to power.
And you see, Bluetooth and power here, and it can be on Bluetooth, and you make it a standalone speaker, or you can have it on your Wi-Fi network.
Well, see, that's why the HomePods are really portable, because they can't do anything without a network. So
it has to be network.
Yeah, if they allowed Bluetooth
and power.
Well, I mean, they could make a wireless one, but they're thinking you don't have internet to say, "Hey, S lady," to do anything with if you're outside, which is not always true. Sometimes you're in the backyard, or you could hotspot your phone or whatever. But that's probably the reason why they don't have a portable HomePod.
Well, but if you're going to go to all the trouble to create a hotspot with your phone to connect to smart speakers, you'll probably come up with some other easier to use solution where you just take a boombox and set it by the back sliding door and play your music that way.
Or if Apple just opened up Bluetooth to the HomePod, they kind of should have, and I think that was part of the problem that they had too. Is they locked it down at first, like of course, really tight.
That's kind of their MO.
Yeah, but I think they locked it down too tight at first. They weren't allowing any other music services. They, it only did two things. It played music and it did Hey Yes, and that was it.
Yeah. So. All right. Justin Long, if people remember who he is, he was the I'm a Mac guy of the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC, has been hired by Intel to be the I'm a PC guy since John Hodgman, the real I'm a PC guy, is actually a big Apple fan. Have you followed that logic? I haven't seen any snippets from the commercials that Mr. Long is going to be producing, but at the same time, I understand that as an actor, he needs work, and that
Intel's
I haven't seen him in a whole bunch lately. The last thing I remember seeing him in, I didn't actually see the movie, was like Drag Me to Hell or something like that. Some weird.
He was in a Die Hard movie too, wasn't he?
Yeah. No, this was
Die Hard. That's movie. Right. Wasn't he the computer nerd?
Yeah, he was dating, or after the movie was over, supposedly going to date Bruce Willis's daughter or something, McClane's daughter. Yeah, and that was originally, I believe the thing was that was supposed to be like the continuation that Bruce Willis was going to stop doing it. And the whole time I was hearing that, I was sitting there thinking, really, Justin Long as an action star,
as the Beaver?
Well,
I don't know.
He wasn't really. I mean, the movie was good. It was the one where they did the.
It was fun.
It was the hacking, and they hacked all. They were doing a fire sale. They were getting rid of what was it? You got to get rid of all communications. You have to get rid of all of emergency services, and you do three things in the financial system, and you do these three things, and the whole country falls apart. It was fun.
It was. Well, if it was real, it wouldn't be so much fun. But
no.
Yeah, but those were like that movie and like a few others, and of course the I'm a Mac commercials were where he I guess he kind of came to fame, but I haven't seen him in much of anything lately. So, I mean, he's an actor, and I'm sure he's getting paid a significant amount of money to do these commercials, and that's okay. I mean, I don't hold a grudge that Justin Long is now doing I'm a PC basically commercials. Let's see. We have some comments. My goodness, price on the 2 white HomePods. You'll have to talk to Warren about that later.
One's white, one's black.
Oh, he says he already has 2 and 1 mini. I don't know why he wants more. And an iPod Hi-Fi. He has 2. You know, Marcus, you're not repping well here. What else? Oh, and his 30-day block is over.
Oh, he was blocked on Facebook. No wonder why he hasn't been here.
Yeah. What happened? Well, you could have gone over to YouTube. You could have commented there. He refuses to watch his promos. Drag me to hell it is. Okay. Yes. So I knew that was the name of the movie was something like that.
Well, the only important thing is Marcus. I have a black one and a white one, just so you know. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Next, a surge of over 1,000%, 1,000% has been recorded of new malware samples, which apparently is still a fraction of what's coming out for Windows each year. Now, the story itself was a little unclear by what they meant by samples. If each of these were a completely different type of attack vector, or if it was just, here's 1,000 of variations on a theme. But again, there's still no actual viruses for the Mac that, anything bad that ends up on your Mac, you put on there. That's how it works. Apple has it locked down enough to where if they trick you into supplying your password for some dodgy software and your computer goes bluey, then that's kind of on you. And that's not on Apple. So don't download dodgy software. Either one of you want to talk about this, or shall we move on?
Dave, the only thing I'll add to is, I do computer support. I think most of us do. And in all of my time, I never came across an actual virus on a Mac. I've even people who would have, and people install things all the time, but I never, in Windows, you get, your computer won't boot up at all because it's, running too much. And when you start it up, you get ransomware, which I've never seen on a Mac. I had one person swear to me that they saw it, but I asked for proof and I didn't get it.
He moved to a different city.
Yeah. So, the worst virus I've ever seen on the Mac is when you install a program, it installs the profile on your Mac, just like on your phone, and the profile does things you don't want it to do. So look there first if you think something's going on. But other than that, there's adware. I definitely see adware.
Lots of malware and adware, but
but I've never seen anything that.
But in each case, this is stuff that is being installed by users themselves. It's not.
But in every case, I haven't seen anything destructive on that does anything destructive on a computer. Even requires a reinstall of the OS, or compromises security in any way. I've never seen that. Maybe phishing websites is the only thing I've seen with that. Yeah. But other than that, you never hear of like keyloggers, and you never hear of like you never hear of Trojans that are passing through. It just minor things, and you hear these security researchers saying all these things, but I've never seen it in the wild. Personally, I've never heard of anybody.
And every single year you see stories like this, and everybody says, "Oh, see, Macs can get viruses too," and it's like,
and
I'm at the point now where I just shake my head and don't fall for it, because it's just trolling.
It's clickbait.
The reality is they're computers, and any computers could be compromised in some way. But I wouldn't be totally shocked, but I just people.
It hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened. I haven't seen it.
Right. Okay. Is there a secret Apple policy that rewards polite customers with free fixes and replacements as compared to being a jerk? I know every single time I have gone into an Apple store, I've been polite, even when I've had to wait for a while to see somebody. And every single time, the overall customer experience has been fine. It's been great. They have bent over backwards to try to help me. I haven't heard of anyone going in and being a jerk and not getting good service, though. You can find stories of people who aren't happy with something that Apple has done all over the web. But I think that, frankly, why not just not be a jerk?
Yep. It's always my motto.
Yeah. Don't be that guy.
So I worked at an Apple reseller.
Yeah.
And I've been to Apple stores and people are generally nice there. Not always at an Apple reseller.
No.
You get a lot. I had people throw iPads at me. I had people throw iPads on the ground and watch them smashed. I had people yell. When you're when you're selling things, it's not so bad. But when you're repairing things,
I'm not saying a word.
Marcus. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. All right. Let's see. I think this is the last story for the evening. A West Texas company, Future Link Systems, has hit Apple with a lawsuit claiming that they have patents that Apple is infringing on that focus on improvements in electronic circuitry. Apparently, companies in East Texas weren't smart enough to patent making improvements in electronics. So this West Texas company did it instead. You can, it almost seems like you can patent almost anything these days and then reword it in such a way, and then you just wait until somebody does something that's even remotely close to what it is that you have a patent for. Even if, and to me, the sniff test is, did you make anything with it? Is there some product that you can show me that you've created? Have you licensed this technology to someone else who has made a thing that needed your patent to make that thing? So many times companies come in and they get hit with these patent infringement lawsuits and they just pay them off because it's easier and it's cheaper than actually going into a courtroom and saying, no, this is a crap patent. This is nonsense. Why was this even rewarded or awarded, I should say? What do you guys think? These patent lawsuits, I think, have become so commonplace these days that it borders on ludicrous.
Patent trolls. I mean, that's what they do. That they just troll on looking for every single thing that Apple has a patent on, and then they troll and look to find some loophole they can see that maybe have a potential lawsuit. If Apple has lots of money, why not? Then why not sue them? I just frivolous lawsuits. That's all I can say.
Nuisance. What do you think, Warren?
I mean, you hear if Apple, Apple does patents too. They'll never, if you have an idea, you could go and patent anything, right? So, at this point, everything's going to sort of sound like something else at this point. Just the article, the link itself is improvement in electronic circuitry. So Apple
what does that even mean?
Made their circuits better, and we patented the idea of making our computers better. Yeah. Apple's doing it, so we're suing them for it. That was it was our idea to make computers faster and better. You can't,
because no one has made electronics better ever.
Only our company can make electronics better. That's stupid.
And and so many of these judges, I cannot believe that there are so many judges that are stupid enough to allow a lawsuit like this to make it into court. Frankly, this should have just been tossed out on its ear. One last comment here from Marcus saying it took 6 weeks to get a new working computer at work. I was very patient, mostly. I now have a 2019 MacBook Pro 16, and it's actually working great for over 4 weeks, mostly issues with over 24 profiles installed for control. Well, I mean, doesn't that mean that you kind of put those in there,
it's
Marcus?
A work computer. He's saying it's a work computer, so.
Oh, so somebody else put it in there.
Companies do it, yeah. So that could be it.
It's easy
okay. Okay. He also says happy St. Patrick's Day.
That's not him. That's Michelle Grinelli.
Oh, that's my niece. That's my niece, Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
We have 2 listeners today. That's great.
And yeah, and one of them is my niece. Hey, sweetie. I can't believe you made it here. Don't you have anything better to do on a Wednesday night than listen to your Uncle Guy?
I can't believe you asked her to do that.
I did not ask her to do that.
Sure. She just accidentally found this, right?
Yeah. Link.
Wink.
Hey, I'll say one thing. I just got a tweet that John Prosser just said. The event was always in April. There was literally never a March event. And he says, absolutely.
Wasn't he the one that said there was going to be a March event?
Yeah. Here's just what he says here. Absolutely incredible how Apple managed to give the quote unquote March 23rd date to myself, Kang, the highest rated source, that they'll love the dream, at almost the same time. And he says, huge thanks for the source helping with this.
Really? So he's going to blame Apple for his own bad predictions. Fascinating.
So
they're trying.
We're looking for an April event.
There's real quick on that is there's.
Wait, hold on a second. Michelle, hang around for after the show, please. Okay, go ahead.
Apple, I think, sometimes tries to figure out who does the leaking. So if you leak bad information out to, they tell one person one thing, they tell another person another thing in Apple, they could try to figure out who's leaking the information.
Okay, but that's that's them looking for leaks. That's got nothing to do with Prosser reporting that there's going to be an event on the 16th or 23rd. That was still up to him.
No, I'm saying he gets his information from somebody who may get it from somebody else.
Oh no, I get that. But it's still up to him to decide whether or not he's going to publish with this.
You're not hearing me.
No, I am hearing it. I understand Apple puts out false information to groups of people to try to find out who's leaking information.
And somebody might have given that information that might be false information to Prosser.
Well, there was actually a guy that was recently, I can't remember his name now. He was let go. Gaz was talking about it last week for being a leaker. And I don't know, maybe this could be related to that, but it's like all of you guys out there, you analysts and everyone else, tech press that just have to one up on everyone else. You get these little snippets of information, and then you go ahead and you put them out there like it's fact, and you never get called on it. You hardly ever get called on it. You just put this out. It's like you're throwing crap on a wall to see what sticks, and it's ridiculous. It's Apple is going to put out an event when they put out an event. And when they do, then you can try to jump on it and say whatever the hell it is that you want, but then don't turn around and blame Apple because you got your nose bent out of shape because you put out something that was patently false. That's on you. That's not on Apple.
Apple's a huge company, and a lot of people are interested in it. And there's a lot of people there, and there's a lot of people that will take money for information. There's a lot of people that will leave phones on a bar. There's a lot of people that what the last guy that just got fired was he was getting information about startups, and he started his own company. Is that the same guy you were doing?
He worked for Eris that's when he left Apple, and then he was leaking.
He was leaking information.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so Apple has a problem. Everybody wants to know what Apple's doing. Mostly probably because of the stock market. I think a lot of people want to know if Apple is having an event this month, maybe that means I should buy more stock. They're going to release something that people are going to buy. Same with the services, all that stuff. I mean, this is why people want to know. So Prosser obviously had a contact that these other people might have had who's giving out false information because Apple has to try to stop this.
And that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. Right.
So, so then you go and you try to find something to collaborate or not corroborate the information that you want to put out. And you know what? Maybe you're not the first to get it out on Twitter. Maybe you're the second or the third person to get it out on Twitter, but you're more likely to be right than the ass clown that just throws everything out there whenever he hears it. And, you know, it's wrong. And if, you know, you want to stake your reputation on getting information from and paying money to guys for information on Apple that's nefarious at best, well then, yeah, again, don't be surprised when it turns out that it's completely wrong and that, you know, you end up looking like an idiot. So, you know, all right, so you take your lumps, but don't blame Apple because you paid some guy for information that turned out to be bogus. That's not Apple's fault. That's your fault.
I think he was being tongue in cheek. I don't think he was like.
Oh yeah, he was being tongue in cheek.
I think he was being more like.
That's why I read it. That's how Prosper is.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot, Apple. Thanks a lot, Apple. That was really cool. You know,
all right. Well, you know, maybe that's true, but it doesn't negate my point. It doesn't negate my point.
No, you have a good point.
It's right here on top of my head.
Really being he is very tongue in cheek. He likes to be funny.
Okay. Well, that is going to do it for the show tonight. We're going to end on a rant, on a guy rant. I don't rant often.
Yeah, you do.
But when I do.
Oh, you do all the time.
Do I really? Okay. But I do it with a smile. Dave, if people wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do it?
They would go to In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com. You can also find me on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. You can find me on Mac Voices Live with Guy and sometimes Warren on Tuesday nights with Chuck Joyner. We have a blast doing that. You can find me as president of the Suburban Chicago Apple Users, the Apple User Group. And you can always find me on Twitter and Instagram at DaveG65.
I don't, Michelle. I do not. Warren, how can people get a hold of you? Or
what don't you won't rant? She's saying you don't rant. Okay. No, I'll be at a hospital sleeping again, so I can't find
sleeping
and snoring.
And snoring. Yep.
If you'd like to get a hold of me, the email address is guy@mymac.com. The Twitter addresses are MacParrot and VerdShark. You can send stuff to those all day long. Over there on the YouTubes, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just do a search for VerdShark. It's going to be there. VerdShark.com is the website. Mac to the Future Show, of course, is this livecast. Guy's Daily Drive, where I drive in my car and say stuff on a regularly infrequent basis. And of course, the mighty MyMac.com podcast that I do almost every single weekend with the long-suffering Gazmaz. Actually, this month makes 11 years that we've been doing the MyMac.com podcast. 11 years. I was in my 40s when we started doing that podcast, and I'm 60 now. I don't know how where'd the time go? Where did the time go? I don't know. Anyway, I think that is going to do it for this evening. Thank you again also very, very much for joining us tonight on the Mac to the Future livecast. And Dave and Warren, say goodnight to Dave and Warren.
Good night to Guy, Dave, and Warren.
Thank you.
Yeah, all that stuff. Bye.